Yeah, I can't take any credit for the involvement of the National Trust at that stage because I didn't work there. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the work that we've done since then in partnership with Slow the Flow and some of the work that's kind of led on to. So that's a slightly unflattering photo. Oh, can I go back? Yeah, should be able to. There we go. That's a slightly unflattering photo of me with my dog attached to a ripped up bit of t-shirt because I forgot to take a lead. Thanks for that one, Adrian. So going to talk about the work that we've done with Slow the Flow at Hardcastle Crags. I'm the Countryside and Partnerships Manager for the National Trust in West Yorkshire, so I cover 3 sites, including Hardcastle Crags, Marsden Moor and East Riddlesden Hall. So as Stuart has alluded to, we've been involved with the kind of practical work of Slow the Flow right kind of from the start, really. We were approached back in 2016 by this lovely new grassroots organisation who were really passionate about doing something for themselves, for the community, to reduce flood risk. Rather than wait 10 years for a government-funded flood scheme, what can local people do practically themselves to kind of take ownership and reduce flood risk themselves? So Hardcastle Crags was kind of the perfect site, really, because of our location upstream of Hebden Bridge. We managed two valleys, so 2 separate watercourses, and a lot of the land above there. So it was really the perfect opportunity to trial some of these interventions on an area of woodland where the impacts on the woodland itself were going to be beneficial, and there was no kind of infrastructure in that woodland that was likely to be kind of negatively impacted. So from our perspective at the Trust, we were just entering into a new woodland management phase, so it was perfect timing for us, and as an upland landowner, upstream landowner, we kind of recognised that we really had an important part to play in contributing to that reduced downstream flood risk. So it was perfect timing, and it was kind of a no-brainer when we were approached originally. So from there, we worked with Slow the Flow and their incredible ability to garner enthusiasm and create so much support within the local community via social media, that kind of thing. The numbers of volunteers that they were getting out on Sunday mornings genuinely blew our minds, because as the National Trust, we're a charity, we're a volunteer organisation, but the numbers of people that they were able to engage and the different types of people that they were able to get coming out on those Sundays was really, really remarkable. And I think that's testament to the sort of energy and enthusiasm of the trustees and the people involved, that they were able to kind of get all sorts of different people on board, full families of people coming out on a Sunday, and genuinely enjoying themselves as well, not just kind of coming out because they felt like they should. So yeah, that for us has been one of the many learnings that we've benefited from by working with Slow the Flow, is the way that they communicated to people, the way that they kind of spoke to people on their level, and just, you know, anything that you can do is something, and it's good enough. So that was a really positive experience for us at Hardcastle Crags and wider across the Trust as well. And yeah, so by using that local enthusiasm, we've been able to do some really impactful stuff. The scale, not only of the dams themselves that we've been able to build, but the scale across the site. We've done over 1,000 leaky dams now on that site, and that's entirely by hand using volunteers. So creating some pretty big structures, and you know, some of it's quite involved work, and it's all been done by hand by local people. And that really is something that's kind of worth reflecting on and worth celebrating and shouting about, because it's when we take, quite often we'll get requests for university groups or kind of people from the flooding industry, other communities from elsewhere in the country wanting to come to Hardcastle Crags and see what we've done, and we'll take them out and they'll be like, oh, how did you get the forestry forwarder in here? It's like, we didn't, it was volunteers. Everything has been done by hand, and often, like, people won't believe us that you can genuinely move a 250 kilo log just with a load of burly blokes. It's, and women. Yeah, it's really impressive stuff.
Burly women?
Burly women. I include myself in that. We did have, so yeah, the horse, Nathan the horse, rest in peace. We did use a horse for some of it. And we have actually had horses in this week. So that's another learning from the Slow the Flow work that, yeah, we've been using horse logging. Yeah. So because as the National Trust, we don't just manage woodlands, we manage all sorts of different habitats. We have been able to use that learning from the work that we've done in the woods and think slightly differently about how we manage our catchment as a whole, and thinking about the flow of water in every aspect of what we do. So rather than it's working with Slow the Flow and understanding the impact that natural flood management can have has really kind of changed the way we work in the West Yorkshire group, and it's certainly, I would say, over the last 10 years, a large part down to how much work Slow the Flow have done in terms of banging the drum for the importance of natural flood management and working with natural processes. There really has been a change in approach from policymakers, from legislators, from funders in terms of accepting natural flood management as a very, a real viable option. And it's changed the way that our organisation and other similar organisations have approached land management. So thinking about water all of the time as kind of the building block, the start really of thinking about how we manage the land. So that brings me on to a project which the National Trust delivered in partnership with Yorkshire Water, which was funded by the Combined Authority. That project was a multi-million-pound project, and it would absolutely not have happened had we not done the Slow the Flow work at Hardcastle Crags, because we were able to demonstrate that we had experience in natural flood management. We were able to demonstrate the efficacy of it, the different techniques that could be used, and we've basically been able to scale that up. So we've now got several years down the line and several £1 million projects under our belts, all because of that initial work that happened at Hardcastle Crags, inspired by these guys. So a lot of our work is in the uplands, so thinking about how we manage our water in the uplands, not just thinking about the ecology of the uplands, but thinking of the restoring the hydrology as the first stage in restoring those uplands and making them more resilient to our changing climate. So it's difficult for the people at the back. I'm sorry for all these numbers, but these, I think, are some pretty impressive numbers, and these are what I can fairly confidently, hand on heart, say are things that have been delivered that probably wouldn't have happened if we'd not done that Slow the Flow project in Hardcastle Crags. So hundreds and hundreds, thousands of leaky dams, new trees, fascines, living willow dams, large log dams, all sorts of interventions across the South Pennines that have happened as a direct result of that initial kind of trial project, learning by doing at Hardcastle Crags with Slow the Flow. And a really important one of these is the community sessions and the community engagement to deliver a lot of this work, and that has been inspired by the work of Slow the Flow, and we've kind of learned really, really important lessons from their work in how to engage with communities in a meaningful way, how to deliver work with them and for them, which is just absolutely fantastic. So Slow the Flow have kick-started 10 years ago, something that is just kind of snowballing from there. So it's been an absolute pleasure to be involved with, and I'm really pleased to be here tonight. All right, thank you.